18 tourists, including children, women, and elders, they were swept away by flash floods in the Swat River on June 27, 2025. The story was not just of natural disaster, it was of institutional abandonment. Our institutions have abandoned us. Our institutions are only for the protection of the powerful people of the state. They don't care about the common man. That is the main problem. Our institutions, they have abandoned us. Our institutions are not for us, the common people. That is the tragedy, and that is the real story. And warnings were issued, people were told, but still, those people, they went there. Nobody stopped them. And the chief minister has an advisor, and he's holding that portfolio as well. And nobody has. This PTI government and their leaders, they used to tell us that, in this country this happened and the minister and the prime minister resigned. Now they are not resigning. Why are you not resigning now? If you cannot deliver, you have been running this province for the last 12 years. And this is what you have done. Inactive, you're slow, you're lazy, and you are spending money on things that you're not mandated to, that you're not allowed to. And people are dying. And you are not, even don't have the moral courage to accept the responsibility and even resign. No. There is, nothing. So this was not a tragedy. It was a state crime. And what were the facts? Well, Section 144 was imposed on June 2, 2025. So it means the government knew about it. Banning access to riverbanks due to risk of flash floods. So the government, the chief minister, must be aware of that. At least 45 violations were recorded before the tragedy, and with no visible enforcement mechanism in place. So the chief minister and the government, they were sleeping. Local officials confirmed warning signs were installed, yet tourists, they were not stopped from gathering dangerously close to the river. The Khyber Pakhtunkhwa government had no real-time evacuation protocol in place, despite Swat hosting over 72,000 visitors during Eid week. So this means that the state knew the risk, predicted the danger, but chose not to act, at least not until bodies began washing ashore. This KPK government, PTI political leaders, they used to say that we're going to make rehearsed in Medina. So governor of KPK, he said, in his tweet, he said, had a dog died of thirst on the banks of the Euphrates, the caliph would have been held responsible. Now these people who claim that they are going to make rehearsed in Medina, they should at least accept responsibility for the loss of these precious lives because of their negligence, because they're not capable enough to rule, to manage the government. It's a crisis of government. It's also a moral crisis. It's failure of the state. So those, people, they have died. Their lives were lost. So they didn't die for lack of faith. Those people did not die for lack of faith. They died for lack of state. The state does not exist. The institutions don't exist. And if these institutions exist, they don't exist for us, for common people. They exist only to protect the powerful people of the state, which is a crime. And now, what happens? Chief Minister announced financial compensation. High-level inquiry committee that was formed. Hotels were ordered to shut along the river. Why did you allow them in the first place? You allowed them to, their owners to build the hotels inside the rivers. Why did you do that? Now you're telling them to evacuate, and then again they will open after a few days. And why compensation? Why? The chief minister must resign, and he must be held accountable, responsible for this. But usually, this reactive governance is what kills people. I have already written an article on this. It was almost a month ago, and that was about this disaster management. So Pakistan suffers not from lack of plans, but from chronic failure to act on them. We don't. And let me now extend it to, I have some, like it should be, we should move from disaster resilience to disaster responsibility. So I have 5 demands for justice and prevention. Number 1, immediate resignation of the KPK chief minister, and he also holds tourism portfolio because he has an advisor, he doesn't have the minister for that. Morality in leadership demands consequences. If the same man holds both the governance and tourism portfolio and a tourism disaster occurs under his watch, he must resign. Not symbolically, but as precedent. Second demand is enforced zoning laws for riverbanks in tourist areas. What good is Section 144 without personnel to enforce it? It is time to deploy tourist protection forces during monsoon season and establish real-time closure protocols for high-risk zones. Third demand is legal accountability under Pakistan's National Disaster Management Act. Clause 25 of the NDMA Act allows, it is about roles and responsibilities, but it also allows criminal liability in cases of gross negligence during disasters. Why has no FIR been registered for this event? It is a big tragedy. It is the worst tragedy. And fourth demand is permanent district disaster response units, DDRUs. Swat must not wait for Islamabad's directives. Empower district level disaster units with drone surveillance, live weather feeds, and trained first responders. A national tourism safety code that is like Japan's disaster readiness kits for tourists or Iceland's safe travel alert systems. Pakistan needs mandated safety briefings, live alerts, and multilingual signage, and a helpline for all tourist zones. So, this tragedy is the culmination of a governance culture that performs crisis instead of preventing it. We have a state that knows how to announce compensations, not how to protect its people, that holds press conferences but never resigns, that mourns but never remembers. If you are still unsure whether this was systemic failure, ask this: why were 18 people, including toddlers, allowed at the edge of a river that had a flood alert hours before? Why is the only accountability we offer the dead a wreath, not justice? Let Swat not become another forgotten headline. Let it become our line in the water.